Is that frustrating to you? Is it? I mean, obviously, I know it was frustrating at the time when it happened. I was there with you, but how long did it take you to kind of get over that and just be like, all right, now we got to just move forward?
About a week and a half. Doing a lot of interviews and telling the same story over and over and over. And going to physical therapy and people that didn't see the fight asking questions like, oh, what happened? I hear this. I remember one time, one tech at the physical therapy, she asked a question and rubbed me the wrong way, and I got pissed. And I got home, and I had to do an interview, and they had something, and I got pissed even more. I remember going upstairs and started snapping off my wife and my kids. I had to go. When I went back downstairs to do interviews, I realized, like, my family ain't did nothing wrong. Why am I snapping off all these people? Like, I'm letting this bother me too much.
What was the question people were asking you?
Just asking about the fight. Like, how'd it go? Like, what, would you do it again? Like, did you mean to tell them? Like, how do you feel the fact you're only 3 seconds away? And when you keep hearing it, you're only 3 seconds away from being a champ. You're only 3 seconds away from being a champ. You're 3 seconds from a lifetime goal, and you kind of snitched on yourself, and it didn't happen. And I remember doing an interview, and before the next one started, I called Ali and was like, yo, or called his assistant, was like, cancel all my interviews, I'm done. Like, okay. Now Ali called me, brother, no, you can't. Like, bro, I'm starting to snap on my wife. I'm getting frustrated. Like, this ain't me. I need to get over this. I told my wife, like, I'm going to go load the RV up. I'm going to head down to Kentucky because I got hunting property down there, and just, I'm going to be out there for a while off the grid, just get my mind right, and I'll be back when I'm ready. And it took me like 4 days. Me and my buddy went down there and we worked on the property, and I texted my wife, like, all right, I'm going to come home now. I'm good. My mind was clear. I've been in the outdoors long enough. And I just came back and went back to the gym. It was like, can't cry over spilled milk anymore. It's time to move on and get to the next one.
I know there's nothing you could have done about it. I know at the time, though, after the fight, you had said, man, I'm worried that this might not happen until 2023 because I think you had heard that maybe you'd broken his orbital too. And so I think you were concerned that maybe it wasn't going to just be, all right, we'll hop back in there in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You knew at the time it was going to be this type of a layoff. What was that process like for you, I guess, kind of in the meantime, knowing that it might be several months before you would even have a date in front of you?
It got a little easier because I already knew it was going to happen. I mean, you tell me anybody that was getting beat like that, you're going to mess with, like, I want to go right back and run it back. No, you can do everything you can to lay it off. I even said, with war going on, so this is 3 options. He's going to go back, join the war. That was a joke. He's going to join the war so he ain't got to fight again. Or he's going to go back so his visa expired, and now we're ready to come over with the war going. He's not going to get it. Or he's going to do everything he can to just push this fight back as long as possible. And sure enough, when I call, like, yo, what is going on? Like, well, we're having problems getting his visa renewed with the war. Like, I told y'all he was going to go back until his visa expired. Yeah, we didn't know it was going to be this long. And like I said, the fact that I already had my mind set that was going to happen, it was a little easier when I got the news. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe it's going to, because I already had my mind set, like telling my wife the whole time. Like, we bought a house in Indiana and moved to Indiana, and I started working on the house. She's like, don't you feel like you need to be back in Jersey focused on camp? Like, I'm just going to keep training here because I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. He's not going to get his visa. And I kept in contact with Copeland. Like, what's the deal? Like, we've been trying. We filed for an emergency visa. We haven't heard yet. So I just kept training with the team out there and wrestling at the college and just kept working on our new house. And then once they got the call, like, we got some emergency visa set, November 18th, Chicago. So my wife was like, I'm heading back to Jersey. Time to get back in camp. So I was there 14 weeks, and it's just like I didn't miss a beat.
You spent, nearly 15 minutes in there with him. Is there enough to take out of that you learned some stuff about him that you might not have known going into that fight? I mean, I know that the odds makers learned something. You were the underdog the first time around, and now you're a fairly sizable, favorite for this one.
I mean, I pretty much called exactly how the fight was going to go. When I was a college wrestling coach prior to doing it again now, my main thing was breaking down film. And I could just tell you what somebody was going to do before they knew it. And that was the same thing. I watched his fights since I came. Him, Bader, Phil Davis, who was there? There was one more 205. I was watching all their fights when I initially signed. It's just like watching everything just to figure out, these are top guys. I know I'm going to get there right off the get-go. Figure out what these guys do well so I can see it in the cage. If I see it now before we get in the cage and have people emulate this in sparring, it's going to be easy. So same thing, going to that fight, I knew exactly what he was going to do. The thing that surprised me is he was strong on the initial contact. On the first shot, he was strong. And I thought that was going to last a lot longer. The second time I shot, that was gone. It was like I blew his low. And the third time, it was non-existent. And what surprised me is that his strength didn't last as long as I figured it would.
Do you feel like that's something that he will have potentially figured out and noticed too, so he'll have done things differently heading into this one, so maybe you can't count on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I hope. Really good mixed martial artist. If you lose a fight or anyway, you're down in any situation, I know for me, I'm going to the gym or going to the coaches and asking, what can I do better? How do we fix this? How do we fix this? And I'm working it until I figure it out. Now, if you can't get strong enough to make that strength last longer, well, you figure out a way to keep from getting in that situation. Ricardo Almeida tells me all the time, learn to kill the monster while it's small. Don't even get in there with the monster. If you see it's coming, avoid it. Figure out how to get out of there before you get drowned. You know what I mean? So I would hope he either figured out how to get his strength up and make it to where he can last in there with conditioning wise and strength longer, or just avoid it.
And we're not exactly right next door to your hometown, but 100 miles away is a lot better than San Jose, right? So, and this is your first time fighting in Chicago, period, right?
Mm-hmm. First time fighting in Chicago, second time fighting in Illinois. The first time was my debut, and it's pretty cool, like I said, to win my first belt. It'd be awesome to win my first belt back where it all started. It's like full circle.
You got a lot of people coming?
Oh,
yeah.
A ton of people. Like they gave me 100 friends and family tickets. Those sold out in 4 days, and people was hitting me up all through camp. Like, what's the link to get tickets? Just go to Ticketmaster and get them. I think like my whole high school is coming because Rob Finkel, he's on the card. We were high school teammates, so everybody's coming to support that. Everybody, Brian Newman, he's an 85er. We wrestled at the same college. I took second. He was a national champ 2 times. Everybody from there is coming. And then my junior college I coached at and wrestled at, all those people are coming. So it's definitely going to be a lot of familiar faces.
Nice.
Hi, Corey, over here. Before the tournament began, you were a plus 1,000 underdog to win the tournament. What's your reaction to that, given where you're at right now?
I don't know where I am now, and don't even, or the odds, and where I am right now, I've always said, I've always been the underdog. You know, people always doubted me. And that's like when I came over, the biggest thing was stop paying attention to the rankings, because that was one of my biggest ordeals in the UFC. I was always trying to argue with people about the rankings. Like, how do I beat the number 3 and drop down to number 10? How do I beat the number 4 and drop down to 11? And I was worried, although I was trying to fight a battle, it didn't really matter. I know how good I am. And that's where it is now. Like, I know in the beginning, everybody, oh, Corey's going to be the first one to get knocked out. Let him talk. Just let all the memes come out and all that stuff happen. Look now, who's in the end? Who's in the finals? You know what I mean? So I just take it all with a grain of salt and just use it as fuel. And then when I look back to see where I am now, it's just like I always knew. It's like Nate Diaz says, I'm not surprised, mother effers.
And have you been doing any hunting this year? Like, how's the hunt been?
Man, it's a pig's ass pork. That's all I do, man. If you don't know, go to YouTube, Outdoors and Overtime. Y'all can keep up with all of it. I got a pet channel on Instagram. But yeah, I hunt in between training. Train 2-3 times a day. If I have to get up early to go to the woods or go straight from the woods to train in the evening, I'm always hunting. I got 5 deer already. I've been killing it, man. I'm doing good. The show is growing. My sponsors there is happy. So I'm just, like I said, happy fighter, dangerous fighter, man. I do what I love from start to finish. I got my family, I got fighting, I got hunting. Nothing else in the world I want to do.
Not to get you hungry or anything, but are you like a big fan of Chicago pizza? Do you like it? Do you not like? What?
Come on, man. Again, the pig's ass pork. Come on, bro. Gotta give me some deep dish. Lou Malnati, if you watching, you can have me a pizza at the hotel after the fight. But sausage. But yeah, man. I love Chicago deep dish. You know, being in New York, New Jersey, my coach having a pizzeria himself. You know, so I have the Chicago, or not Chicago, New York, New Jersey pizza, that thin, paper thin. I don't like that. Give me something. I need a fork and a knife, and I can dig in with an apron and get dirt. You know what I'm saying?
And then, you know, MMA lost a great one in Rumble Johnson a few days ago. Can you just talk to me about his legacy and what he left behind and how it might have impacted you and the sport?
I mean, how can you say it ain't Rumble and not know what we're talking about? I mean, if you're just talking about anything Rumble, say Rumble, people think of Anthony Johnson. I even talking about fighting. Oh, like my belly rumbling. Anthony Johnson in your stomach? You know what I mean? Just that name stand out because Rumble just left a huge impact, not just on the fight game, but on his opponents. And that impact was that right hand. When he hits you with it, it's over. You know what I mean? And just that impact he's going to leave in the fight game. Granted, Derek Lewis got the lead knockouts. I'm sure people know Rumble's knockouts more than you know Derek Lewis because he was just that influential. Not just in that, but the fact he's fought all the way down from 170 up to heavyweight in other organizations. You know, it's just it's a sad one. We lost a really a true OG and a real one. And my condolences and prayers to his family and loved ones. And yeah, it's a sad one.
Do you have a favorite moment about him?
My favorite fight moment, I said it earlier, is I want to say it was World Series of Fighting he was fighting in. It was for him and DJ Letterman. I remember Letterman poked him in the eye, and he was backing up like, yo, I poke. It was just, like, you couldn't even see. His eyes closed, going like this, trying to make sure nobody touching him. You hear the ref say, I didn't see nothing. And he opened up one eye, and Letterman was running at him in a full sprint. He literally just plants the gun. And you just see Letterman. One hit with his eyes closed and just melts this dude. And I was like, yo, that's some OG, cold, legit, like, you don't see that. Like, he couldn't see. He literally just put the brakes on, opened up one eye, and just let it go. And it was over.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
Corey, you know, for this rematch, man, considering how everything went in the first fight, does that give you more or less pressure for this?
I mean, it's kind of like I said, my first fight against Manhood was really no pressure. That's one thing I learned you gotta learn how to balance the pressure and excitement. Now, excitement is one thing. I'm always excited. I wake up, I'm excited. Another day to get better. Pressure, you learn how to manage that after 10 years in this game, because pressure either breaks pipes or pressure makes diamonds. You know what I mean? So I try to stay on the aspect of just be excited to where I'm fighting out to have fireworks and create a diamond. And, you know, everybody talk about the last fight. I say it all the time. The last fight was the last fight. This is going to be a completely different fight. It's a same name, but a new opponent. In the aspect of he has 15 minutes of intel of what happened and what I can do. So I'm pretty sure he went back and trained to revamp his style to get around what he couldn't succeed at doing April 16th to do it November 18th.
You know, last time we talked, Corey, I was in Arizona for your fight with Ryan Bader, and you know that was right before Blachowicz and Teixeira. You predicted Glover to go and win the title, and he did, and then dropped it against Yuri. A great fight. I'm sure you saw that one. I was curious, what did you make of kind of that really quick run that Glover had, the great fight, and then obviously he's getting the rematch now.
I mean, I'm very happy Glover got his belt. You know, at 40 years old, 40, however old he is, that's amazing. The Rocky story. But what's going on? I just feel like it's at that time. I know he doesn't want to walk away. But no fighters, some fighters, they don't have that exit plan. All they know is fighting. They don't want to walk away. But watching our last fight compared to when we fought, his fight against Yuri, I just feel like it's not the same Glover. Like he should have put Yuri away early. Like in the second round, we took him. That fight should have been over. There's no reason he should have got back up and been going to war with this guy. To be exciting, just more of the time than caught up. He's just not as fast. He might still be strong. He still got old man strength. You're gonna have that. But like, the IQ was there, but just the awareness was just, I felt like it was just very slow. His movement was methodical. Like you could see everything he was going to throw before he threw it. And it's just like, in that case, I feel Yuri should have put him away earlier. So in my mind, I was like, yo, I think this should be his last one. But if he came back, power to him. If he get the belt, even more power. Congratulations again. But we'll see what happens when they fight.
Absolutely. Speaking of walking away, Frankie Edgar also just called it a career. Curious, how much of an influence he was for you and how helpful he was in your career.
I mean, without Frankie Edgar, there's no overtime. Literally, he gave me a name overtime. Nobody really knew who Corey Anderson was. I said it when we was on the Ultimate Fighter. You go back and watch the season when they all have us walking through the gym. I said, tomorrow night when we fight, this is going to determine if I'm just another black kid or I'm going to beat somebody. You know what I mean? That was it. I won that fight. Frankie Edgar and the team picked me first. And after that, it was like they saw potential in me. They worked with me throughout the show. After the show, I remember getting off the plane. I had a text message from Mark Henry. I called those guys. They was all in the gym like, yo, we want you to come back out and continue working with you. Like, you're so young, you hungry, and you listen so well. I feel like we can make you into a champion one day. If you come here, finish this camp. If you want to come back, keep coming. And I moved out there, and his father-in-law's at it. Stayed there for 8 months and never charged me rent, anything. So I had enough money to get my own place. And so, like, I say it all the time, without Frankie, if anytime I make a post about Frankie, without Frankie, no one would know who Corey Anderson was because he saw something nobody else got the opportunity to see. And he brought it to light, and he put his faith and trust in me and taught me everything he knows. And like they said before he left for his fight, all right, it's your time, champ. It's the passing of the torch. Saying like this is his last one. Now you are the last vet in the gym. Everybody in our gym is pretty much retired. That was there before me. I'm the last one standing that's got to carry the torch for these younger generations and do the same thing. So Frankie's not just inspiring and inspirational, and just Frankie's pretty much everything for me in the MMA fight game.
Absolutely, man. Favorite fighter? There's obviously a lot to choose.
Of course, the main or two, man.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
What's up, Corey? What a nice sweater you got on.
Thank you.
You mentioned hunting already, I know, but I saw on your Instagram this week that you hunt every fight week. Before you leave for the fight, you hunt on fight weeks. Why is that part of your routine?
So I used to like kind of discipline myself to the point where 4 weeks out from the fight, I lock all my hunting stuff up in the guest bedroom and don't go in there and touch it. But to the point like I was so antsy, like I missed it. Like it was kind of like you got a drug addict in rehab. They going crazy, you know. That first and Trent Cole, NFL player, I went hunting with him one time. I said, "Why do you do this?" He said, "You love it so much. That's a passion. That's something you can go out there and you can get away from the world. You know, that's gonna help you think about the fights. That's gonna help you focus. When I played football, that's what I did. Before the games, I would go hunting and think about what my assignment was in the football game, and that helped me dial into what I have to do." And hunting helps me escape from everything else. Like when bad practice or bad fights, I go to the woods, I forget about it. So once I started hunting all the way up into the fight, I realized because the fight week, you start getting nervous. It's time to go. It's like, oh, everything I did is gonna work. You tap you in, you at home tapping, you like fucking thinking, and those doubts start coming to your mind. Like, yo, did I do enough? Did I do enough? But then when you spend that time in the woods, and I'm constantly looking for deer, or I hear squirrels, I'm paying attention, or you just listening. You don't have time to think about all those negative energy. So when I get home, by the time I get home, I finish field dressing the deer or taking care of the kids or dinner, whatever it is. I really didn't have much time to think about, oh, it's fight week, I'm nervous. It's like, nah, all I'm thinking about is hunting. I'm thinking about what I did. I got the film, I got to go downstairs and edit. I'm putting the film together till bedtime. So while I'm doing all that, it's kind of taking my mind away from that. And that's why I hunt and before I leave.
I wanted to ask you about one more fight week ritual you have. I don't know exactly what it is, but it has something to do with Lincoln College links and a wrestling shirt. What's the ritual?
So, like I said, you have to know where I come from to understand. When I was in high school, I was the kid that was like pretty much voted to be the least successful, wouldn't do nothing. The lazy fat kid was just there to be there. And the shirt is a Lincoln College All-American shirt, and you can only get that shirt if you earn All-Americans. And for me, that was the start of when I actually became a hard worker and good. I knew how good I can be because of the coaches I had, and I earned All-Americans that year. So I keep that shirt with me at all times, no matter where I go. I work out in the office just to remind me. All the way up to me taking second in the NCAA finals and being the only kid from my high school out of all the state champions. I'm the one that never made it to state and the only one to make it to the NCAA finals ever. You know, so that's when I wear that shirt and I see that when it's all overdone, it's covered in sweat. It reminds me like that hard work and sweat not only got me this shirt, but got me the life I lived. And it was because of Lincoln College and those coaches there that I am the athlete and the hard working guy I am today. So that's why I always start fight week off at the hotel. My first workout, I wear that shirt. Just remember, we're not just here by mistake. This just didn't happen. This all started right here at Lincoln College. We bleed purple for life, and we're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna do it just now, today, like we did 7 years ago, 10 years ago, and on Friday night, we're gonna do it the same way, and complete domination, and represent Lynx Wrestling.
Awesome. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.